But let's start off talking about the predicted lineup. Ange has been speaking in his press conference today. What's he said?
Well, no news is good news. So no changes on the injury front. Everyone came through the game against Luton unscathed. So no one's added to the injury list. No one's taken off the injury list, I don't think. So as you were, essentially, from last game.
Yeah, he did say as well that Richarlison is in contention to start as well after his knocks, and he's fully back fit. But we are going for a 4-3-3 formation. In goal is going to be Big Vic, and I feel like he's going to be come under some pressure in this one.
Yeah, I hope not. Oh, he actually had an underrated display against Luton because he had a couple of really crucial saves, didn't he? Which at crucial times, which if one of those goes in, would have been a different game. So, look, I think the way West Ham attack, hopefully his sweeping is going to be of massive use to us with the way they counter-attack. But hopefully he's not called into action too much, but we know how West Ham like to play with set pieces and counters, and that's where Vic can come alive. Yeah.
Right back, Pedro Porro. I thought he put in a really good display in that second half against Luton, and hopefully he shows more of the same.
Yeah, and what I've noticed about West Ham recently, they've been playing Kudus on the left-hand side recently, or they did on the weekend anyway. So he likes to go on the outside of his defender now. So Porro's got to be watch out for that. I thought at times Doughty was giving a bit of trouble, but then, as you say, second half he was a lot better. So hopefully he can get the better of Kudus, but Kudus is one of those players I do worry about.
Right centre-back, Cuti Romero, and he might be licking his lips a bit in this game coming up against Antonio after all those podcasts Antonio and what's his name? Wilson did a few months back.
What about Romero?
Yeah, no, about Richarlison.
About Richarlison.
Backing up his teammate.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's always a bit of a battle whenever Romero faces Antonio, actually. They usually get into it quite a bit. It's going to be difficult because Antonio, I feel like recently he's come back into a bit of form, so his confidence is up. A confident Antonio is something to worry about because he's big, he's strong, he can run in behind. So
scores against us frequently.
He does.
Well.
So Romero's got to definitely be on his game to keep him quiet.
Alongside him, we're giving a return to Mickey van der Ven. And like you said about those players that they can hit you on the break with the Jared Bones, with the Mohamed Kuduses, with the Lucas Paquetas. Van der Ven is going to have a top job on his hand, isn't he?
Massively, especially with Bowen potentially playing on the right-hand side for West Ham. That'll be Van der Ven's side. So he's going to have a crucial role to play to make sure that Bowen's not getting in behind, because that's what he loves to do. I feel like Kudus is a player who likes the ball to feet. Bowen's a player who likes the ball in behind, and Van der Ven's got to watch out for that.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be using his top sprints as he usually does, especially against this side. But left back, we are going to go for Destiny Udogie, and I want to see him really imposing himself physically in this one.
Yeah, and he was the one who made the mistake last time out. Sloppy pass back to Vicario, which allowed West Ham back in the game. So he's got to make sure that he banishes the memory of that mistake. And I actually thought he struggled quite a bit at times against Luton. So I'm really hoping this game he's back to his best.
Yeah, absolutely. In the number 6, we are going to go for Yves Bissouma. I thought like he kind of grew into the game against Luton. Not his best display, still nowhere near the that he showed at the beginning of the season, but let's hope that he can have a dominating performance.
Yeah, I thought it was much better, and I think he's actually in recent weeks, take out the Fulham game, I think he's been much improved. So I do think he's going to continue there, and I think he's probably the best number 6 at the moment for the job.
Alongside him, we're going to go for Rodrigo Bentancur to get a return to the starting lineup. If it was my decision, I probably would drop Bentancur back into the 6, but I can see the advantage of having him in the 8 as well.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Sarr, who came off like on 60 minutes or 65 minutes on the weekend, maybe he's feeling a bit tired. So I think he's going to want to, just to freshen it up a bit in the centre, maybe put Bentancur in from the start with the view of bringing Sarr back in on the weekend. I thought Bentancur had a brilliant cameo as well, so he's got a chance to stake a claim for a start as well. So we're thinking Bentancur is going to come in for this one.
Yeah, and he has been looking a bit more like himself in the cameos that he has had recently, especially coming off the bench against Luton in the latter stages of the game. I thought he looked really good, so I think he deserves a start from these cameos that he has been showing, even if he does only have 9 toes. But alongside him in the third in midfield is going to be James Maddison. Poor performance in my opinion against Luton, so it needs to be much improved.
Yeah, but interesting hearing Ange talk in his presser saying he was asked whether maybe having games in quick succession could help Maddison get back into his rhythm. And he said, yeah, potentially. It's been a very stop-start season for him, obviously with the injuries and stuff, and hasn't really hit his perfect form since the first 10 games of the season. But maybe having Maddison come in and play another game straight away could help him. So I do think that's an indication he's definitely going to retain his place. And yeah, it's a difficult game because you've got Edson Alvarez there, you've got Souček potentially, you've got Ward-Prowse potentially, Paquetá. So he's going to have a lot of combative midfielders to be up against him. So he's got to be up for the battle to get on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where he kind of earned his praise against Luton, was his off-the-ball work. The way he kind of dropped deep, was putting in challenges time and time again, winning his duels. I think that aspect of the game hasn't decreased, but his on-the-ball aspect hasn't been the same as maybe the first 10 games of the season. On the right wing, we're going to go for the man on form, which is Brennan Johnson. Came on, changed the game against Luton, and I think that has earned him a start.
Yeah, I think he's got to start this one. And I think up against Emerson Palmieri, he'll probably he'll probably fancy his chances of really taking him on and committing him. It'll be interesting to see if he does get the same kind of joy he did against Luton, if the West Ham will leave the same kind of spaces. But Johnson's probably one of our form attackers at the moment, so I think he's earned the start. He was brilliant on the weekend, and you can't leave him out at the moment.
The thing is with Johnson, we've said it quite a few times, where we feel like he might be better coming off the bench, maybe against a bit more tired legs than he is from starting the game. I can't remember too many games where he started and had a really top performance. I mean, Villa was one where he had a good performance, scored a goal and started the game. But apart from that, I can't really think of too many times he started and put in a really good performance. But hopefully this is a change of that with the confidence that he is going through at the moment. Up top, obviously, we're going to look for Heung-min Son, and he is a proper West Ham killer. He loves a goal against West Ham.
He does, especially after what those West Ham fans said something to him, was it a few years ago?
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what they said. They called him they said a slur or something, didn't they? But anyway.
Yeah, they were being racist.
Yeah, so he does love a goal against West Ham. It's interesting in this kind of game, Zuma and probably Zuma and I think Aged, I think they said, is back. So it's not like, it's an interesting challenge for Sonny in this kind of game to playing against a team with a low block, no space. I thought he did quite well against Luton, who played a back three, but it's a different kettle of fish here. So it's going to be a challenge for him. But hopefully, look, I thought what he was doing so well against Luton. He was dropping deep, making the centre backs make decisions, and that's what he's got to do in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it is West Ham side that are leaking goals at the moment. Quite a lot of them. They conceded 4 at the weekend. Before that, they were conceding goals as well. So I think Sonny will definitely fancy his chances up against West Ham, as he usually does. And on the left-hand side, we're going to go for Turbo Timo. Look, he has been very hot and cold, Timo, but he gets in the right positions. He just needs to use that end product a bit better.
Yeah, I think he's doing the right things, but he's not doing the right things to a great standard. I think he's doing them to a decent standard, but Ange seems very happy with him at the moment. He was talking him up in his press conference, saying what an impact he's made. I do think he has a use in the team. He's one of those players where even when he's not playing well, he still has a use, Even when things aren't coming off for him, he's still stretching the game. He's still committing players. And that has a value. So hopefully his quality end product is better in this game, but I think he deserves another start.
And just to mention as well, Edson Alvarez is suspended for this game.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that's a big positive for Spurs. But let's get into that final predicted lineup one more time for you guys. It's Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Romero and Van de Ven in the centre-back positions, Bissouma, Bentancur and Maddison in a middle three, with Brennan Johnson on the right, Timo Werner on the left and Heung-min Son up top. In our predictions, we both went for 2-2 in this game. Are you sticking with that?
Unfortunately so. Look, I'm not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility you'll win this game, but I look at West Ham's team and just the way they attack, and it does worry me a bit with the way we are leaking goals at the moment and the way we're defending. With Van de Ven back, to be fair, it should help. So maybe having Van de Ven back will mean that actually we might be okay to deal with what West Ham are offering. But I just got a feeling that Bowen, Kudus, Paquetá are really going to turn up tomorrow, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the result, it's going to be an unbelievable game of football. These two teams usually throw up really exciting encounters. I do think this is a game that will promise goals. I've also gone for 2-2, but I want us so badly to go there. If we do go there and win tomorrow night, that puts us in such a good position in the league with Man City playing Aston Villa at the Etihad this week, especially with no Watkins and McGinn. So, I mean, a draw, it does, if we assume that Aston Villa are going to lose, does cut the gap by 1 point, but a win will just do us the world of good, won't it? So I do think it's going to be a draw. I do think it's going to be 2-2, but it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be
don't lose,
tough.
Spurs.
Just don't lose. But look, we have it within us to go and win. If we use that same mentality and that same kind of aggression and forward play that we used against Aston Villa, we can go there and put these away, no problem. But it's just a case of we need to be consistent, and we're just not being that at the moment, especially away from home. So I do worry. But that is our predicted lineup. Let me know your predicted lineups in the comment section below, and I want to know your score predictions as well.